you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy. And Pierre, there's a very rich man in Minnesota right now. Kirill Kaprizov finally signs with the Wild. They get it done. 8 years, $136 million, $17 million a year. Just your instant reaction to that, Pierre, and then we'll get into more and tell our listeners about our guest in a second.
Thrilled to death for the fans in Minnesota. Really happy for our friend Billy Guerin. I know how hard Billy and his staff worked to get this done. So that's really good news. It's great for the team. Really happy for Mr. Leopold. It's excessive. I'm not going to lie. It's excessive amount of money. And if you're right now, those noises you're hearing from the western part of the United States and Canada, those are people in Edmonton punching walls and people in Vegas punching walls. Because now Jack Eichel and Connor McDavid are going, really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
What I did today, just to put it in perspective, nobody had more goals in the NHL last year than Leon Draisaitl. He had 52. He also had 106 points. Nobody had more points in the league than Nikita Kucherov. He had 121 points. Nathan McKinnon had 116. David Pastrnak had 106. Mitchell Marner had 102. Tage Thompson had 44 goals. You haven't heard me say Kirill Kaprizov's name once yet.
No, we have not. We have not.
I totally understand where Minnesota's coming from in this because I had to do deals similar to this. But this is going to have resounding whiplash effect around the NHL.
It is, Pierre. But this is the new landscape that we are entering right now.
We'll see whether it is. We're going to see.
Yeah. Well,
because
if Kaprizov's getting 17, Pierre, you got to. I mean, McDavid's got to get at least 18, at least, if not more, 19, I'd say. Right? Yeah. Let's go to 20. Let's just say you go to 20.
Okay, so this is important. So Jimmy will explain to you. I'm going to set it up, and then Jimmy will explain.
Yep.
When we found out that Kirill had signed, and Jimmy could tell you, again, we're not playing games here. I was really happy for Billy Guerin. I was really happy for Johnny Hines. Thrilled to death for the fans of Minnesota. And maybe I got a stake in the game because my kid's part of their organization as a player. So I'm happy for everybody there. I am. I'm thrilled. Especially Mr. Leopold. But what I asked Jimmy to do is, Jimmy, can you do me a favor and do the Canadian currency exchange on $17 million US? And right now, let's say it's $1.40 Canadian to buy a US dollar. It's over $23 million if it's 17 million. It's over 23 million Canadian. So then what I asked Jimmy to do is their neighbors to the north own a player by the name of Kyle Connor, who, Jimmy, is in the same contractual situation as Kirill Kaprizov. So I said to Jimmy, and Jimmy, if I'm wrong on any of this, you just tell me, McGuire, you're full of poop, and that's not what you said.
No.
And I said to Jimmy, I want you to give me Mark Scheifele's contract. I want you to give me Josh Morrissey's contract. I want you to give me Connor Hellebuck's contract. And then I want you to give me Kyle Connor
at 14.
$14 million a year, right? That's what I said. And I hope you kept the number.
Got it right in front of me here.
Okay, so I want you to tell the listeners what it came out to.
So that's going to come out to, for those four players, if we're on the money with Kyle, 45.4 million Canadian.
45.4 million Canadian for four players.
Four players.
Do you think that market can survive?
It's going to be bleak. I'll tell you that, Pierre. And this is, we've been saying this for a while that, a lot of people in the media and fans I forgive, but people in the media need to stop making teams look as if they're not trying to win because they're not spending the cap. This is the perfect example. Like, how is Winnipeg going to do that? if they have to lock up that much in 4 players, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Luckily for them, as you pointed out, Pierre, when we were having this discussion earlier, that the other 3 players are already locked in for at least until 2029 or 2030.
Thank you. That's where I wanted to go next.
Good
So good for you for remembering that. And that's the key for the fans of Winnipeg. You don't have to get down. Nothing's happening in a negative way. You're protected because your elite guys are all locked up except for Connor. So you're okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry. But I'll tell you, Jimmy, like that's a first. And when we were having the conversation, the first thing I said to you was, let's go to Winnipeg. And we did those names.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I said, oh, Vegas is going to be angry.
Yeah, that's the one.
and Edmonton.
Yeah.
And we're not telling either one of those teams how to do their business, but the agents are aware.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, Pierre, with Edmonton, too, you look at it, right? Like we've heard throughout the summer when, those things start to surface in the news, that we've heard that it was Connor McDavid who was maybe more interested in short term, and the team. And I'm just saying this. This is what we've heard. This is what we've been reported. I'm not reporting this right now. What was reported was that he was more interested maybe in short term because he wanted to see what they could do in a short period of time, if they could win the cup and if they could build to sustain it, right? And the team was like, all right, I mean, we'd prefer long term, but we're going to do whatever you are. I mean, you're Connor McDavid. Now I wonder, Pierre, is the team saying, you know what, let's do the short term, because there's no way that we can afford to lock everybody up long term that way under what's going to happen once we sign you, Connor. So I wonder if it's going to go past 4 years, and I wonder if both sides now are mutual on that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good thought, and I like how you presented that. Here's one thing that was shared to me by not a GM, but a guy that does a lot of negotiation today, and I agreed with him on this. It looks like teams have made a concerted effort to lock guys up that are their key core component players.
Mm-hmm.
But it also looks like teams have stopped playing in the free agency pool.
Mm.
It looks like the market that's going to die is going to be free agency.
Yeah.
And I know I told you this, and I told our viewers this last spring. There's a quiet little surge for college free agent players that are on entry level that don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's the
new
market. So if you're a GM, you better make sure you have people that understand that market, that are really plugged into coaches, college coaches, that are really plugged into agents that represent these players, because that's going to be the new growth market. Yeah. Free agency, I think, for older players is going to go out the window.
Superstars too, because they're going to lock them up.
All those top guys are getting locked up.
Yeah, I mean, next July 1st, the way it's looking right now.
I'm just telling you, that's what's going to happen. And yeah, maybe there'll be 2 or 3 guys that'll be available. Free agency day's done. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because there's no way this can't keep up.
Yep.
It cannot. If you don't believe me, go read what Mr. Andlauer said last week about running and owning a small market Canadian team. His passion, his energy is off the charts. He loves it. He loves Ottawa. He loves everything about it. And it's hard not to. I lived there. Ottawa is one of the most underrated cities in North America. It's an awesome, awesome place. I'm telling you. But he said it, and I don't think he meant it to come out the way it did, but he said it.
Yep. And then when I spoke to Mark Chipman, owner of the Jets, after like a couple of days later, I asked him straight out about that, and he agreed with Mr. Andlauer. And it's a reality that they're facing right now. But I'm with you, Pierre. That college market of those guys that are like, undrafted, 24 to 25 to 26 years old, those are the guys that you better start to become familiar with, because they're going to be the guys that can patch the holes for you. And not just patch holes, because I think that's underselling what they can bring. They're going to be the guys that can fill the holes for you and deliver the depth that you otherwise may not be able to get because you're locked into those stars.
So we agree 100%.
Yeah,
totally agree. We better get to the next guy, because this guy's good. And you know what I love about Mark Spector? I've known Mark over 30 years. You know what I like about him? Like, he's not afraid to say what's on his mind. Even if he knows he's going to get it, he doesn't care. And that's the kind of guy I like to hang with. Jimmy, you know the term we use all the time, don't run with the herd.
Yep.
Spec doesn't run with the herd.
No, he doesn't. He tells it like it is. And here is Mark Spector joining us from Sportsnet, and he is based in Edmonton, where now the question is, what does this mean for Connor McDavid? And Spec, how are you, my friend?
Doing very well, boys. Nice to see you. Hockey season's getting going here. Nice to be back in the air with y'all.
Loving it, buddy. Like the glasses.
Good to see you, Mark.
You're stylish. There you go.
Gotta keep running with the young guys. I'll tell you what.
There you go. Right. Spec, I know that was probably the immediate thought once you saw this. All right, on to Connor. What is he going to get? What's the climate like there right now in Edmonton in terms of the media and the fans since Kirill Kaprizov got his contract this morning?
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone here feels that Connor McDavid's waiting around to see what somebody else does to start with. I don't think there's no, he's the best player in the world. It doesn't matter. If he wants 20 million, he'll get 20 million. If he wants to take 16 million, that's what he'll do. This is a one-way negotiation.
Right.
Right. If he decides he wants to go to some other city, he gets to pick from every team in the league would move enough salary out to take him. So he's completely in control. No one feels like Kaprizov has shifted things here. I would say to you that Kaprizov taking 17 million on an 8-year deal suggests to me that if McDavid's only going 4 years, he probably gets less than 17 million. Isn't that the way it's supposed to work?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that's right. But what does that do? How long is your window open when you lose Connor McDavid?
Well, listen, if you get him for 4 more years, you take him for 4 more years and you try to win some cups, and in 4 years you deal with it, right? Like if I'm
I'd prefer 8, Mark. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd prefer 8.
Hey, everyone wants him here for 8. If I'm an agent, my guy's not signing for 8. I don't know why Draisaitl signed for 8. I don't know why Kaprizov signed for 8. I wouldn't sign my guy for 8. No
I'm
chance.
confused with you, but what about the pressure maybe from the agents, from the union, where they're going to say, Connor, you have to be the highest paid player. You can't take less than him. How much do you think of that could go on or maybe already is?
Oh, it's going on every time. Connor McDavid's the best player in the league. You should make the most money. That's just that's simple math.
Right.
But Connor McDavid's, so he's from the PA, he's hearing take as much money as you can. From his agent, he's hearing don't sign for very long, don't sign for 8 years. From some people in his life, he's hearing you should sign for 8 years. From Leon Draisaitl, he's saying I signed for 8 years. Why don't you sign for 8 years? Like he's hearing it from all sides, boys. Right? Mm-hmm. There's a fan base. There's people in Toronto posting pictures of McDavid wearing Leafs jammies on the internet. So he's getting it from every side.
John Tavares, remember that?
Yeah, exactly. He's getting it from every side. He'll figure it out and make his decision. My prediction will be it will be for less than 17 million, and it will be for less than 5 years.
Wow.
How about Jack Eichel in Vegas? You think they're happy in Vegas?
Yeah, right. Got a nice number on him. We got a nice number on Draisaitl here at 14.5 even, for the next 8 years. It's
going to be really interesting. What's Kyle Connor going to get?
Well, there again, I was just listening to you. At some point you got to fit all these guys into the same payroll here. Mm-hmm. And Winnipeg's as long as the cap was low where it's been, and it's been a stagnant cap, that's worked great for smaller markets. If that cap's going to start going through the roof, let's say a team like Anaheim. Anaheim's always had an artificial cap. They don't spend at the cap. They set their own cap by how much revenue they have.
Right.
There's going to be more as the cap raises. There will be more Anaheims. There's no doubt about that.
Yep. With you.
That's a really good point. But that's where, to Spec's point, and I don't know if he agrees with me on this or not, that's where I think there's no cap on management, coaches, and scouting staffs. And I think you're going to see more resources go to that and teams. Mark, I did the numbers. You probably did it. There's 16 out of 32 teams, 4 million or more below the cap. 16, half the league, 4 million or more.
Okay, so does the ability to spend off ice, does that become a disadvantage for all those teams that are 4 million under the cap? They're obviously working on internal budgets. they don't have extra millions to hire more scouts, more coaches, more people off the ice. But the Leafs and the Rangers and the Bruins and the Flyers and the Oilers, they all do. Do we see a separation now? Do we see a bit of a chasm growing here?
Yeah. I do. That's why I'm bringing it up. I do think there's going to be
the parity is a bit. Yeah,
I do. You remember you were just a Cub reporter back then when I was breaking in.
Many moons ago.
There were teams spending $90 million on salaries, and others of us were about 15 to 17 to 20 million.
Yeah,
that was hard. That was a hard NHL.
Well, out west, there was those years where the pre-cap years where it was Detroit, Colorado, and Dallas, and they ran the show here for a decade.
Yeah,
and they were the best teams, and they were spending in the 90s. And the team in my town, for instance, the Oilers, were spending in the 20s and 30s. You just couldn't compete. You can't compete with that. So thus came the salary cap, really. And I believe that you should have a league where every fan base feels like they have a chance. Who wants to cheer for the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? Nobody.
Because they don't. Pittsburgh are furious.
Oh yeah! Imagine if they had some hitting. Like
they don't even try. Right?
Yeah,
they kind of like their owner doesn't want to lose money.
No, and they know they're going to lose. What's his name?
Skeens. Yeah, they're going to lose. Yeah. They become a farm team the way the Oilers that I covered were a farm team. Every Doug Waite and Bill Guerin and Curtis Joseph, they all went somewhere and got rich.
Hey, wait a second. You started before that. What about Messier and Lowe and all those guys?
Right.
Lowe, come on.
That's when it broke up, was at the end of the 80s. So the point is, listen, it's a salary cap world now. If you're a team that can't even keep up with the salary cap, then you got an issue. Then you got an issue. You can't ask the players for more than a salary cap. You can't ask them to have a stagnant cap so that we can keep the tightwad teams in this thing, right? They're going to have to figure out a way to increase their revenues.
Yeah. Spec.
Can I just ask Spec one more? Because Mark has to live with it every day. Mark, the Canadian dollar is an issue. I don't care what the league says. The Canadian dollar is an issue.
Yeah. Paying out players in American money and earning it back in Canadian, right?
So
absolutely, it's an issue.
We did the math. I asked Jimmy to do it. I don't know if you heard it or not, but just with those guys in Winnipeg, it's almost $50 million for 4 players, Canadian.
Yeah. So and they're running about a 14,000 seat arena there, right?
Jimmy, what did we say?
They weren't even packing that last year.
They weren't even selling it out.
Yeah.
Well, at some point it's and what's the corporate, the corporate fan base? You're pretty familiar with Quebec, Pierre. I feel like there's no way there's enough money in Quebec City to put a hockey team back there. We'd all love to go. I'd love to see the Quebec City get a team. It's the heartland of hockey, man. They love the game more than anybody. I don't think there's enough money in Quebec City. It's a small town. There's not enough corporations. I don't think they can keep up.
They could not. I can tell you, it breaks my heart every day to say it. They could not.
Yeah,
they cannot.
In fact, we hear throughout the summer, one of the things that Connor wants to make sure of before he signs his contract is, are the Oilers doing enough to maintain contention for the Cup? Are they adding the pieces they need to? Do you feel like enough was done in this offseason to satisfy him or satisfy the fan base?
I would have to. I don't know. I guess the answer is I don't know.
Okay.
Listen, they're capped out, so their options aren't to go out and add, Adrian Kempe or somebody.
Yeah,
that's not an option.
Gotta be a trade.
No.
You got to pay Bouchard. You got to pay McDavid. They're paying Draisaitl now. Connor McDavid's issue would be that some of their better players are getting older. Ekholm's getting older. Hyman's getting older. Nugent Hopkins is getting older. So what Stan Bowman did is he went through Europe and he found some guys. He found the guy that led the Swedish league in scoring, David Tomasek. Can he play? We're going to find that out. He found a Finnish defenseman that led the Finnish league in scoring as a defenseman, which never happened. Signed him, a guy named Leppänen. You know what? He's going to go to Bakersfield, but there's a player there. I don't mind him. They made a trade, brought in Ike Howard from Tampa, right? A very talented young 21-year-old player. So the team gets a little bit younger, right? They brought in Andrew Mangiapane, who's he's a middle six winger. Can he be a top six winger next to a real good centerman? I think he can.
Yeah.
I think he can. He makes
He'll help on the PP. He'll help on the
Sorry?
PP. He'll help on the PP for sure on the bar.
Well, they don't need help on their PP.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's the issue with McDavid and the future of the Oilers. I get how he's saying, I don't want to sign up for a team, and I'm signing up for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who Sid plays for. They can't win anymore because they're not very good. But Stan Bowman can't write down what his lineup's going to be 2 seasons from now. Like, that's just an impossible request. At some point, McDavid's camp is going to have to trust somebody. If they're going to go to another team, they're going to trust that team that's full of young guys and is younger and it has their draft picks, that they're going to do something with them. You could have signed up for Carolina a couple of years ago because they look so great, and they still look pretty good, and they've won Jack, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
kind of like
I'm not as bullish on him as the media is.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
I would say this to you: Stan Bowman does have a track record of taking teams in Chicago that won a cup, got decimated by the salary cap, and he rebuilt them, and he won 2 more cups. Yeah. So they got the right guy at the helm when it comes to keeping this thing alive here. Yeah. They better start winning the cup, getting to it's awesome. You got to collect a cup or 2 here. And frankly, I'm not blaming management. Pierre, tell me if I'm wrong. If management can build a team that can get to the Stanley Cup, at that point, it's the players' time to win the Stanley Cup, in my opinion.
You are not wrong, sir, at all. In fact, you just nailed it. So here's my question. The one question mark I have about the team is in goal. And I know they say all the right things out there. Is it good enough, Spec? Is it good enough?
You know what? We're not positive. I mean, it's been good enough to win 2 Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Stu Skinner in the playoffs has been okay. Let me start again. Nobody would trade Stu Skinner for Jake Ottinger, right? Nobody. But for 2 years in a row, there's been a playoff series between Dallas and Edmonton, and Stu Skinner's been the better goalie by some margin.
Especially at key times in the series. I would agree 100% on that.
Much better. No one would trade Connor McDavid for Stu Skinner. Stu Skinner's markedly better in the postseason than Connor McDavid has ever been.
Agree on that as well.
So, you know what? Stu Skinner is that guy. Could you improve on him? If you could, like the guy, I'm going to say this. There's probably about 10 or 11 guys in the league where you trade for him and say, this guy is a for sure improvement. Mm-hmm. But out of those guys, they're not available. Like, they're not trading Hellebuck. They're not trading Onger. They're not trading Shesterkin. They're not trading Vasilevsky. They're not trading Sorokin. Yep. That's 5.
No.
Give me the next 5 great goals. They're not trading Dustin Wolf. They're not trading Thatcher Demko, right?
No.
So how are you going to, Stu Skinner he's in the next tier. He's a 10 to 15 goalie in the league, but you can't get the top 10. So you tell me how you're going to improve on Stu Skinner.
For one, and this is just, I'm not reporting this. This is just me speculating out loud. For one guy, though, who I heard was, there was some reports he was linked to them when he was going through his contract battle with the Bruins, Jeremy Swayman. Jeremy Swayman has a no trade clause that doesn't kick in, or no movement clause that doesn't kick in until July 1st. If he was to become available at some point this season, are you all over that if you're Stan Bowman?
I don't know. You guys see him more than I do. I know he had a brutal year last year, but that was...
I wouldn't be, to be honest. I'm not convinced yet. I think he has a potential to be a great goalie, but I need to see him bounce back. And if he bounces back this season, then why are the Bruins trading him, right? Then it's not going to happen. So
I agree. This isn't me saying Stu Skinner is the next Vezina winner. I'm not saying that. No. But I am saying this. Forget about the name, okay? I'm going to give you guys a goalie. He's 26 years old. He's played 3 years in the National Hockey League, 3 seasons, okay? Mm-hmm. In those 3 seasons, he was a Calder finalist. He made an all-star team. Then he took his team to 2 Stanley Cup finals, and he's only 26. So we all know goalies start to get better when they get into the second half of their 20s. Is that fair? I think every goalie does.
Oh, absolutely.
You got that goalie. 2 cups, Calder finalist, only 3 years in the league. He's 26 years old. Are you giving up on that guy at 26?
No, but I'm going to ask you another way around the question. Does a team believe in him?
That's a good question. You know, I mean, I'll never know because they'll always tell me they do.
Right.
But I guess I watched the Florida series. They didn't lose because the goalie wasn't as Bobrovsky was fantastic. Was he better? Sure, he was a little bit better.
Yeah.
I thought he was better. They didn't lose those series because of their goalie, right?
No.
It's not why they lost the series. So
They lost because they were, just like other teams, Florida beat them down, in my opinion.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
Florida's bread and butter. They wear you down.
They do. They couldn't exit zones. They couldn't get a zone exit. They couldn't play their game. The game was played on Florida's terms. It wasn't played on the Oilers' terms enough. That's why they lost. So everyone wants to find a reason why they lost. You could look at McDavid and Draisaitl's production in the Cup final last year. It was substandard for their usual pace.
Yep.
Right. No one's blaming McDavid or Draisaitl for losing that thing. So I don't know why it always is the goalie's fault, boys. I'm not telling you Stu Skinner's great. I am telling you can win a cup with him. That's how I feel.
You're making valid points, my friend.
On to another topic. Do people have purchased their tickets yet for when Vancouver comes to Edmonton for the Evander Kane show?
Yeah, now we're going to find out who Evander Kane didn't like on his team and who didn't like him.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of them, Spec, that's funny. And Pierre, good segue. I was going to ask you, I know you're more familiar with the Oilers, but you do cover all the teams up there in Canada. What's your take on that Vancouver Canucks team? Do you think that's a team that can bounce back right now? Or are you still like me where they're kind of an enigma?
Well, they are an enigma because no team has a more dysfunctional dressing room that I've ever seen than what happened last year. First of all, the year before that, they win the Pacific Division and they take the Oilers to 7 games. And that series was a coin flip. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
It was a coin flip.
Yep.
Then they completely implode last season and they're terrible. So which is the real team? I think the real team is the team that made the playoffs. So I don't mind their team. I don't love their team, but I don't mind their team. They're okay. I guess I'd close on this. A team with serious cultural problems and a bad dressing room is solving their problem by bringing Evander Kane in. That's a new one on me, but let's see how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never know.
I just only have one more for Mark because I hate when people speculate on coaches. So I'm not going to speculate on the coach. I'm going to say last year, the contract for Knoblauch. Last year, have they started talking yet?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I expect him to have a contract signed before opening day.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
That's breaking news, Jimmy. That's
guy walks in the door and takes his team to 2 Stanley Cup finals. I mean, don't you just sign him?
I would
How
think.
long are we negotiating here?
Mark, you've seen some crazy stuff in your life in the league.
Yeah, in Edmonton.
Yeah. Good stuff, Spec. As we're sitting here talking about Vancouver, I was thinking, all Talks had to do was take him to the winking judge. And they would have been fine.
Yeah,
scored it out there, come on.
The winking judge. That's our favorite pub in Vancouver.
It's gone now, is not? It closed down.
I'm sitting in this bar last year with a buddy of mine that I grew up with. He's in Vancouver, and I'm sitting in there and I'm looking around and I go, this place is okay, but me and Jimmy Murphy, we used to go to this place called the Winking Judge, and it was awesome. He goes, "You're sitting in it. This used to be the Winking Judge."
That's how good a time we had. All right, great stuff, Spec.
Thanks, Mark.
All right,
boys, thanks for having me.
Have a good one, man. Cheers. Mark Spector joining us here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. He's a character, my friend.
No, there's breaking news though. He thinks the coach is going to get signed before the season starts. That's a big story.
Yeah, that's great.
I thought if not, and they get off to a bad start, it's going to start to float around.
Right, and that's usually teams tend to do that, right? They'll wait until maybe the American Thanksgiving mark to see where they're at.
Yeah.
But look, I haven't been the biggest fan of everything he's done, Pierre, but you can't argue the track record. As Spec said, he's gotten them to 2 Stanley Cup finals.
I don't blame the coach for any of that.
No.
I think the coach did a good job against Dallas. Tell you what, he's not wrong on that. Spec isn't wrong, but I don't think they're good enough on defense, and I don't think they're good enough.
I forgot. That's what I wanted to ask, and I forgot.
I don't think they're good enough in goal. Like I get it. Like it's hard to win unless you got a guy that can make those timely saves. And I know he makes some, I think he needs to make more.
Right. Right. And I think, though, you made a good point on the defense there, Pierre, because that was one of the things that we saw as that series went on. And as Spec said there, Florida dictated it, right? Do they have a defense now that can withstand a forecheck like Florida's? I don't think so. I don't see it.
I know. And you know, the copycat syndrome, I've told you, a lot of
It's a lot more teams playing
it's
like
hard
that.
for small guys now.
Yeah.
The next 5 to 7 years is going to be hard for small guys in the league. Really hard.
We're big fans of Matt Grzelcyk, right? But there's a reason why maybe he just got a PTO is because
Yeah, no, it's going to be hard. Listen, I agree.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, let's get to our sponsor. We'll get to the Q&A because I see there's a lot of questions over there. And, you know, one place, Pierre, where if I'm the Minnesota Wild, you know, I think obviously Kaprizov's going to have to buy some dinners on the road. When they get to Montreal to play the Canadiens, they're going to have to go over to Vago Italian. It's the place to be. They combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion, so the Wild can get their own room there. Open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. Located at 1336 Green Avenue in the Montreal neighborhood called Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that is 514-846-1414. And, of course, our wonderful friends over at Betway, where you can still go all the way with Betway right now and bet the beauties. The baseball playoffs kicked off today, Pierre. Skubal with a gem for the Tigers. They beat the Cleveland Guardians 2-1 in game one there in Cleveland. Some games going on right now. I think we got San Diego and the Cubs, and there's 2 more games today. My Red Sox will be taking on the Yankees down at Yankee Stadium. So plenty of baseball to bet on. You've got the hockey coming up. You've got college football. You've got the Champions League going on. There are so many things to explore over at Betway right now. But remember, in order to do so, you must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. You must always bet responsibly, and this offer is not available right now in Ontario. So remember, get over to Betway, where even if you lose your first bet as a new member, you can still get up to $200 credit. All right, let's go. What do we got in the Q&A? Seamoke, our man. Pierre, do you think Andre Burakovsky was a sneaky good pickup by the Hawks to play with Bedard? If he can return to his form with the Avs, I think he complements Bedard's game well. I forgot he was on there, Pierre, to be honest.
No, when I was coaching the league, his dad was playing for Ottawa. His dad was a really good player. He's had some good years in the league for sure. It's one of those where I'm worried that maybe the better part of his career is maybe gone. I hope I'm wrong. I do. And if I am wrong, then he's going to fit well with Connor Bedard. But if I'm right, I'm not sure it's going to work out as well as everybody thinks. So I hate to crush people, so I'm just going to say I'm going to wait and see. Okay. I'm going to wait and see on him because I didn't like some of the stuff I saw last year.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
I think there's a lot of players like that on that Chicago lineup. Like there could be, when all is said and done, we might look back and say, man, that was a steal by Kyle Davidson. There's a couple players like
we're going to see. We'll find out. We'll see. But I'm not prepared to say, oh, yeah, that's a lead pipe since that's going to happen. Right. I don't feel comfortable saying that.
He's too much of a wild card. I agree. Yeah. All right, next question. Bert L. Kevin Krasinski was drafted in 2022 and has already been sent back down to the AHL. The Hawks admitted that he was screwed over by the rule requiring NHL or CHL. Any thoughts on his future?
So first of all, I'm going to respectfully disagree with the Hawks, and I said it when they kept him up. Jimmy can tell you because we had just started the podcast. Mm-hmm. I said he's not getting screwed by the rules. He's getting screwed by the Hawks.
Yep, I remember
he should have been sent back to play in the World Junior. So they can say whatever they want. They did the screwing. The rules didn't.
I think they've kind of botched the development on that kid.
Yeah. So anyways, he's played well. He's played pretty solidly this preseason. And I hope it turns out well for him. But, Pittsburgh's going to have the same situation with Brunick.
Yeah.
I just said on Pittsburgh Radio before I came on with you with the great Mark Madden, I said, he asked me, what do you do with Brunick, Harrison Brunick? And I said, I'd send him back because I want him to dominate the World Junior, even though he's too good to play junior hockey. If I'd have been Pittsburgh, I would have tried to place him at Penn State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, I urge everybody, I'm not just saying this because he's my teammate and friend, but check out Pierre's post-game hit last night on the Pittsburgh Radio Network, the Pittsburgh Penguins Radio Network. Really good stuff on Marc-Andre Fleury. And what he did for some younger guys that were around him in his send-off there in Pittsburgh this past weekend. So I
Mark Andre, the Penguins, the league, the Minnesota Wild, they deserve a lot of credit. The Player Association, everybody. Detroit Red Wings, really all classy, really classy stuff. Really,
I'm gonna credit our colleague Elliot Freeman at Sportsnet here and ask you with this question. I want to ask you because he brought it up as well. Do you think that more teams will do stuff like that for guys and that are retiring? He used the example: would Philly ever do it if Claude Giroux retires after this year?
If Claude wanted to, I don't know.
I think it was a great idea. I mean,
I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Montreal? I wish they would have been able to do it for Guy Lafleur.
That would have been amazing.
Or
if Boston ever did it for Bork.
I'd love to see something like that.
All right.
I want to give Chicago some compliment on this. They're the ones that came up with last shift. So older players come back and they skate in the warm-up with the team, and then they're announced before the game.
I didn't know.
And I think that was a really smart idea. They're the team in the NHL that I think came up with that, where a player skates his last shift.
During the Bowman era?
It was. No, it might have been maybe right around the end of the Bowman, beginning of the Davidson, but I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, I like
it a lot. So hopefully stuff like that. But I like to see players get saluted. I do.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's one thing that I think I love about sports that drags us to it and attracts us is nostalgia, right? That's never going to go away.
Legacy and nostalgia matter a lot. Legacy and nostalgia matter. I agree.
All right. Next question. Big Bill, Pierre and Jimmy, does the NHL/NHLPA have contingency/safeguard plans in place of an economic recession? If an economic recession hits and the cap goes down? I don't know. That's a great question, Big Bill. We've been kind of saying, watch out, because the economy is going the other way than the cap. They're going in opposite directions right now.
In some markets, it's called a cash call.
Yep. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch for sure.
Look, I'm not tooting our horns. I'm just telling you what we've been saying. I don't know how this number keeps going up, but it's going up, and they have to have the cash to justify it going up.
Yep.
But
so
we'll see.
You got to trust them for now. All right. Next question. Juice_031017. Pierre, what do you remember most about the 71 Stanley Cup final between the Blackhawks and the Canadiens? I think I know, but I'll let Pierre answer this.
Oh, there's a bunch of things I remember, so I don't want to do a disservice to any of them. Jacques Lemaire from center ice against Tony Esposito. Henri Richard's 2 goals, but the one I remember in particular was him sliding into Tony Esposito. I'm not sure if that would have counted as a goal today in the league. And then finally, it's the Dryden moving from his left to his right to shut down Jimmy Pappen, the late Jimmy Pappen, with a breathtaking save when the Canes were up 3-2 late in the third period. Those are the things that I remember. And the final thing I remember was the big clock in Chicago Stadium. The big clock at one end is just amazing. And I coached in the final there, believe it or not, in 1992, so 31 years later.
Yeah.
Coaching the Stanley Cup final in that same building. The last time the final was ever played there.
I'm so jealous.
Pretty amazing. Huh? Yeah. It is. It's pretty amazing.
And that was, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that was Belleville's last game, right?
Yeah, I should have said 30. It's 20 years, 21 years.
Yeah.
That was Jean Belleville's last game ever played. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of stuff happened there. All right, next question. Sound the siren. Guys, what's the real breaking point? Even a financially viable Raleigh small market, it's a $500 night for a family of 4, if you're lucky, right? You leave no room for your family budget. Isn't there a breaking point here? Great question.
I've been saying this forever, and I've been told by people, don't ever equate the price of a ticket at a pro sporting event to the salaries being paid to the players. And I'm going, that's just not logical. And I've had a lot of people tell me that are in pro sports, and I respectfully disagree. I'm not saying they're wrong. I just respectfully disagree.
Okay.
But yeah, I do think there's a breaking point. Yeah. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you choose. I want to take my family on a nice trip, or I'm going to take my family for one night to a pro hockey game in January.
And And Pierre, forget about what it becomes the cost in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
base values for one ticket would
Well,
be $500.
it's not just hockey, though. That's the thing. It's
Everything. Oh,
everything.
it's everything. It's out of
What do
control,
those seats cost at the sideline of a basketball game?
right?
What does it cost to sit in a private box in Texas Stadium? You know, I don't know where the money comes from. I don't know.
And even the college games, Pierre. Like I'm trying to go. You know, I love Notre Dame, and they're playing at Boston College in November, and the nosebleed seats right now, minimum, are $400
There you go.
just for a college game. All right, next question. JL3335. Do you think if Florida's season goes south with injuries, do you think Toronto or Edmonton makes an offer for Bobrovsky since he's on an expiring contract?
No, because of his age. No, I would
Yeah.
be shocked. I'd be shocked.
All right, next question. A moment of clarity.
Yeah, so he's a Denver
Jack Devine, by the way.
player. I would be shocked if Jack made it. Right now, the guy that's hotter than heck for all those young players in Florida is Brett Chorsky, who played at Colgate University for Mike Carter.
Any relation to Tom?
Yeah, it's his son. He
Okay.
transferred from Colorado College. He's been the hottest guy in Florida for the young guys. Scored again last night. He's got 2 goals, I think, in his last 3 games. Devine's a good player. But I think he'll probably, like he did at the end of last year, be in Charlotte. But he's a good player. He's a tough kid. He plays hard. I like the way Devine plays.
All right, and those for not watching, we were asking about Jack Devine on the Panthers. All right, next question. Marek, what's up, Marek? It says, hello, Pierre and Jimmy. Pierre, with yours and Scotty's system of 7 elite players on the team, give us max numbers on contracts for these players with the cap of $100 million to make sure you all have a competitive squad.
So what the reason why the 7-player profile was created, the specialist forward wouldn't make anywhere near like Jake Evans would be a specialist forward. He's making less than $3 million a year. You know, your shutdown defenseman could be a guy that's just like Sylvain Lefebvre used to be. Those guys don't make a lot of money because they don't have the numbers. So there's ways around it where you could do some damage if you utilize a 7-player profile properly. The guys who are going to make the most money are the power forward, the 2 center icemen, and the elite puck moving defenseman and the top end goalie. Those are the guys who are going to make the most.
All right, next question. Renaissance Resistor, which Southern European country could you see develop into more of a hockey country? My family is in the front Southeastern Europe, and whenever I show them a game, they are in awe.
Well, I have a daughter that lives in Spain, and I know that in Spain, I think they could do some development. I don't know about whether they could do it in Greece or not. Italy's got the Olympics coming up. So they've got some stuff going on. The French has a good league that's starting to grow. Well,
we had a question like this last week, and you said France was one of those countries you're watching.
It's starting to get better because of the influence of the Swiss and the Italians. The Italian league's starting to get better too. But I'd like to see it grow in Spain. I really would. I'd like to see it.
George Justine would love that.
Well, she's moving to London though. She's
that's right.
She's going to work. Well, she's with the same company. She's being transferred to London. But I'd love to see that. That'd be good.
All right, next question. Perlo Wisdom, have you heard anything about how Savoy is doing? Yeah, we did not ask Mark about that.
No, that's okay. But Perlo, I love it. He always comes up with good stuff. They were really happy with the start of his camp. They were really happy with some of his prospect stuff. I think it's just a matter of figuring out, if he can sustain it for the entire year. And if he can, that's great. I think I told you the story when I had Tyler Ennis in Ottawa. Ty liked him a lot. He thought of all the kids that he had skated with for a long time, he thought that kid had a chance to be really good.
All right. Next question. Use _031017. With him announcing his retirement yesterday, what was the best moment of Max Pacioretty's NHL career?
He had a lot. Being named captain of the Montreal Canadiens, kid from New Canaan, Connecticut, that's a pretty heady stuff.
Yep.
I remember Max playing World Junior for USA. I remember him playing in the Olympics in Sochi. I remember him doing some really good stuff in the playoffs for Montreal. But I think probably the number one thing is you get named captain of the Montreal Canadiens as a kid from New Canaan, Connecticut. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Pierre, forgive me for asking. I don't know off the top of my head, but was he the first American captain for the Canadiens?
I think Chelios was.
Okay, that's right. Good call.
Pretty sure
All right,
Charlie was.
next question. Seamoke. Hey, Pierre and Jimmy, do you think DiPietro, that's Michael DiPietro, the goalie for the Bruins, is someone the Leafs should target with Wohl's situation up in the air? That's a good question.
It's a great one. And I think, Jimmy, though, to be fair to you, Jimmy, I think you brought that up to me the other day. We didn't have it on the show. So you were kind of trailing on this. You were on this pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because you play in the Ontario League and the Leafs are really plugged into the Ontario League. So, yeah, I could see that.
I've been hearing Edmonton a lot up for obvious reasons, but I think that was more speculation on a lot of people's part.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing right there. That in general, that's something to watch with Toronto, not just with DiPietro, but what do they do with that situation?
Yeah.
All right, next question. Bert L., what are some of the interesting superstitions of players that you picked up on while working in hockey? Oof, I've seen some ones.
Where do we begin? I only have, what do we got, 12 minutes left in the show? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Some crazy ones.
I saw Marco Sturm getting interviewed last night on a profile Pierre, and he said something he picked up when he came over here was coffee. He had 3 coffees before and I'm telling you, until I started covering this game, I didn't realize how many coffees get drunk by these players before games.
If you think the players drink a lot of coffee, talk to the coaches.
Well, that's what Marco said. He said, now I drink even more because I'm a coach.
I don't know, man. I had to cut back.
Good for your stomach, man.
Yeah, it wasn't good for a while. But no, it's okay. Now I'm down to 1 a day. It's good.
I'm at 2. All right, next question. Juice, Pierre, why isn't there an OHL team in Timmins?
I don't know the economics of Timmins. For a lot of years, the best players from Timmins used to come down to Toronto and play at St. Mike's. They had an unbelievable pipeline from Kapuskasing in Northern Ontario and Timmins. I don't know the economics of Timmins. I've never, believe it or not, I've never been there.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people from there. But I don't know the economic. I know Hearst, Ontario, where Claude Giroux is from, not far from Timmins. So I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
All right, that's it for our questions here today. Great ones as always. We appreciate them. Appreciate everyone listening and watching.
I'm on with Tony tonight, 10 o'clock.
All right, going on the post game with Tony's. They're up in Quebec tonight, right?
They're in Quebec City with Ottawa tonight. What I can't wait to see it. The Montreal Canadiens have built an identity line. Florian Jackguy, Jake Evans, and Josh Anderson. So this is going to be interesting because remember, Cizikas with the Islanders, Clutterbuck, and Martin. Yep. That was their identity line.
Most successful teams have one. Yeah.
So I'll just say this. That line, especially Anderson and Evans, those guys can fly, man. They're faster than that Islander line, and Jackguy's a better skater than Matt Martin. Like I'm telling you, that if those guys get an identity, that could cause some serious. That's a line built to play against Washington Capitals.
Yep.
I'm just telling you, Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals. You pick the team that you think is a little bit gnarly and nasty. That's a line built to play against those guys.
I like the way Marty's just exploring, like just trying different things out. He's not getting hooked on one thing like some coaches do. He's really just,
Jimmy,
what?
You're not wrong on that, but I think what I was impressed with from Marty, and I brought it up right after the game with Tony, I was ticked off. I did not like their game on Thursday against Toronto. That was bad. That was bad.
They broke it up, right?
And I let them have it on Tony's show, and I let him have it on Melnick's show. Marty didn't mess around. He didn't. He changed the lineup. Yep. He got angry. Changed the lineup. They got better. They played well. And you see what he's done today for Ottawa, division opponent. Big rival. I'm going to play some nasty guys.
And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, Pierre, you would remember better than me because you're on top of the Canadiens a lot more, but didn't they have a crazy rough game against Ottawa in the preseason last year?
Yeah, they do. I mean, it always is because it's just the way it is.
Yeah. But I'm with you. Like somebody said, I heard, so I'm not going to say the name, but I totally disagreed. There was a reporter in Montreal I heard on the air the other day saying, it's a little too early to be message sending for Marty there. And I said, no, it's not. It's never too early. I don't know about you, Pierre, but I don't think it's ever too early to send a message to your team, especially to young players.
No, we agree.
All right. Good stuff. Again, thanks to Shane working the boards up in Montreal. And by the way, just got confirmation, Pierre, Toronto Maple Leafs head coach Craig Berube will be joining us here on the eye test on Monday afternoon. So you'll want to tune in for that, especially if you're a Leafs fan. Looking forward to that. And thanks to him.
What a good guy to join Jimmy. I think I'll not come on the show. You know what else is not just Coach Berube. We got an amazing guest Friday. Great.
I was going to go there.
Amherst.
Greg Carvel
on campus Friday. That's a big guest to get early in the year.
Right, and kickoff weekend for college hockey. Don't forget, everybody.
That's a big
college
one.
hockey's kicking off this weekend, and we're psyched here in the eye test. But we will talk to you tomorrow. We'll have more good guests coming up. But definitely tune in for Greg Carvel on Friday and Craig Berube on Monday. But until tomorrow, this has been another edition of the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.